Concerning story, that. But let's get an update and certainly some reaction. We're joined by ANC North West spokesperson, Tumelo Maruping. Tumelo, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, upon seeing this, I think top of mind for me was just yesterday, we were looking at the unemployment numbers in the country. It was very difficult to ignore the Northwest province. And perhaps you'd know these numbers. This is a province that has a 56% unemployment rate. That's according to the extended, explanation. And I raise that because if you look at that number, it means the province has more people unemployed than it has people employed. Then we go into these municipalities and municipal workers are struggling to pay their bills even though they are working. Perhaps respond to that, if you will, as we reflect on it. But are you aware of what's happening in these municipalities?
Thank you very much, Naledi, and good evening to the viewers at home. Look, Naledi, we were anticipating this situation as the African National Congress in the Northwest because these four municipalities that we have alluded to are part of the municipalities that have adopted unfunded budget last year, the 2024-25 financial year. And secondly is that you will know that majority of our municipalities in the Northwest are highly dependent on grants with very minimal means in terms of collecting revenue or raising revenue. So we anticipate that this situation might arise. And that is why in February, during our Lekgotla, the PC Lekgotla and the local government summit, we mandated the Department of COGTA through the provincial government to institute Section 139, subsection 5 to these municipalities, not only those four, there are about 7 of them, so that we assist them to collect revenue and make sure that they provide services to the people. With regard to the salaries, those 4 municipalities actually received their equitable share sometime around the month of March, and as a result, that late transfer resulted to salaries not being paid on time and so forth. But because they are not able to raise revenue on their own, that is why the situation ended up where it were. But in the main, there are also administrative issues or instabilities that led to administrative issues, which disabled some of these municipalities to do their job as expected. But that is the program that we are on top of it, and we are trying by all means to resuscitate the situation in all these municipalities with the interventions that I've just spoken to.
Okay, Mr. Maruping, you've mentioned, I mean, a list of issues that these municipalities are facing, and if you could assist us, just so that the viewer is able to follow and understand everything that is being said. Because if you've got workers that say they haven't been paid for 2 months, this isn't just their lives that are being impacted. One can imagine what this does for service delivery. So perhaps we can start with you taking us through the list of the 4. So we can start with Ditsobotla, then we can get to Mamusa and, and get to Makwasi Hills and take me down the line. Because you've talked about these municipalities, part of those that have adopted unfunded budgets. What does that mean, and what is the case in each of these municipalities?
Look, like we're saying, when we say the municipality has adopted unfunded budget, it basically means they are spending out of something that they don't have. It's like planning, budgeting for things that you actually don't have the money for. And as a result, as and when you don't collect as much as is expected, you are likely to hit the rock in terms of affording those those amenities or those things that would have budgeted for in your SDBs and in your plans. But getting to those municipalities, of course, it's the municipality of Tswaing, it's the municipality of Mamusa. We have also Lekgotla, and we have what you normally call the troublesome Ditsobotla local municipality. And all of them, like I said, they received their equitable share between February and March, which was a transaction that was a bit late. And as a result, those those municipalities, unfortunately, the employees were affected. And we want to really convey our message to all the employees of those municipalities that the African National Congress understands their pleas, they understand the situation they are living under, and they understand the unbearable situation which these municipalities have caused to their lives. And therefore, we are working very hard as the ANC to make sure that we turn around the situation. That is why we mandated the provincial government to intervene in terms of the section that I've just alluded to, section 139, subsection 5, to make sure that we assist this municipality to turn around their financial discourse. Some of these municipalities, Naledi, they are being owed by provincial government a lot of money in terms of the lease of many buildings, in terms of the provision of water, electricity in those municipalities. So we are also assisting, we are also requesting, or we have also mandated the provincial government to make sure that through the Department of Cocta, to make sure that they assist them to collect what is being owed or what is due to them from the provincial, different provincial departments, so that at least they are able to become financially viable to maintain their commitments, their financial commitments, which will include, of course, the salaries.
You hear one gentleman who is a municipal worker saying that he's at a point where he's afraid to drive his vehicle to work every day because he's afraid that it may be repossessed. Another person saying their credit score is so bad they're unable to borrow even as they await their salaries. So the implications of this really urgent for these workers. What do you think needs to be done from a governance point of view to urgently deal with the governance issues? I bring that up because in Tswaying, for instance, last month, you had Sanko calling for the Tswaying Council to be dissolved, using the word corrupt to describe that council.
Look, like I said, on the issues of salaries, from where I'm standing, the matter has been resolved because the 4 municipalities, that equitable share has been given to those municipalities. So from where I'm standing, the matter on salaries has been resolved, except of the Tsobotla, where we received a report that staff members did get the salary, but they got partial salaries as a result of these insufficiencies that we have spoken to. But with regard to what happened in Tswaying, the protest was not as a result of the salaries, if you recall. They were contesting that the issues of corruption, the issues of the mayor whom they actually marched against about 2 months ago. So there are a number of issues that have to do with political instabilities, political differences in different municipalities. In the Tsobotla, of course, it's public knowledge. It's west. It's a bit west. But what we are doing as the African National Congress is that we are intervening in all those municipalities. Of course, in the Tsobotla now, the national government is also assisting through the Minister of ESCOM, including the Minister of Electricity, including the Minister of Cocta. They are now intervening in terms of the DORA Act. So there are interventions, and we are now joined by all national departments in terms of trying to resolve the situation. But in terms of political instabilities, we are also making sure that we have sent the deployees of the African National Congress to make sure that we stabilize those municipalities, because our agenda is that we must make sure that people do get the services that they require or that they are due to them. That is the mandate of the National Congress.
And the issue of services being important, because it's not lost on me and neither is it lost on the viewer, I imagine, that 2026 is an important year for political parties when they vie for the votes of community members in various municipalities. I mean, is that something that sits top of mind for the ANC and the various councils in the province? And are you confident about your ability to hold on to the support of the electorate?
Look, we managed to get 58% in the previous national and provincial elections when nobody believed that would have done that. In our Lekgotla this year in February in the summit, we said we are giving all the municipalities a 10-month program on infrastructure with regard to water, roads, and so on. And that is the program that we are focusing on in preparation of the 2026 local government election. And we said it before that we are not going to allow anybody to deviate from this mandate of prioritizing infrastructure. And if you don't do what the ANC has deployed you to do, unfortunately, we are going to part ways with many comrades of the ANC or many deployees of the ANC.
Yeah. Tumelo, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Tumelo Maruping, the spokesperson for the African National Congress in the Northwest.